the only 5 isometric exercises you need to strengthen your entire body after 50. Do them at home. Exercise number 1, Superman. The Superman exercise is a classic core training movement that got its name precisely because of the position it creates, resembling the hero flying with arms and legs extended. It emerged as a safe alternative to traditional lower back extension exercises performed on machines, and has been widely adopted by physical therapists and fitness professionals around the world. The importance of this movement lies in strengthening the entire posterior chain of the body, especially the spinal erectors, without overloading the vertebral discs. Have you ever imagined the impact of that on your daily training? The posterior chain, made up mainly of the spinal erectors, glutes, and hamstrings, is responsible for supporting the body in virtually every upright position. When this muscle group is weak, the body tends to compensate with excessive tension in the lower back, which explains a large portion of the pain in that region among sedentary people after 50. The benefits of the Superman are remarkable for those who have already passed that age. It improves posture, reduces chronic lower back pain, and strengthens the spinal stabilizers, which tend to lose strength as we age. Regular practitioners can notice a significant improvement in the feeling of stability in their back when performing daily tasks, such as carrying groceries or bending down to tie their shoes. To perform it correctly, lie face down on a mat, extend your arms forward, and keep your legs fully straight. Simultaneously lift your arms, chest, and legs off the ground, keeping your gaze directed downward to protect your neck. Hold that position for 15 to 30 seconds, feeling the contraction in the lower back and glutes. Repeat 3 to 4 times with 30-second rest intervals between each hold. A common mistake is raising the head and neck too high during the movement, which creates excessive tension in the cervical region. To correct this, keep your chin slightly tucked and your gaze fixed on the floor throughout the entire movement. Another frequent error is lifting only the arms or only the legs, losing the benefit of simultaneously activating the full posterior chain. For those just starting out, I recommend beginning by lifting only the legs while keeping the arms supported on the ground, until you develop enough strength for the complete movement. As you progress, increase the hold time from 15 to 30 seconds, then advance the number of sets from 3 to 4. Contraindications are important here. People with an active lumbar disc herniation, spondylolisthesis, or acute lower back pain should avoid this exercise without first consulting a healthcare professional, since the hyperextension can aggravate certain conditions. If you feel sharp pain and not just the sensation of muscular effort, stop immediately. Exercise number 2, isometric push-up hold at the bottom. The isometric push-up hold at the bottom, also known as the lower position hold of a push-up, is a variation that removes the dynamic component of the traditional exercise to focus exclusively on static strength. It became popular among calisthenics athletes as a way to develop functional strength in the chest, shoulders, and triceps without the need for external loads. What makes this exercise particularly valuable after 50 is its ability to strengthen the chest and arm muscles without the repetitive impact of full push-ups, which can overload the shoulders in people with reduced joint mobility. In addition, the isometric hold intensely activates the scapular stabilizers, which are fundamental to shoulder health at this stage of life. You will know you are doing it correctly when you feel a slight muscular tremor in your chest and arms, a sign that the muscle fibers are being intensely recruited. To perform it, position yourself as if you were going to do a traditional push-up, but lower your body until your chest is a few inches from the ground, forming an angle of approximately 90 degrees at the elbows. Keep your body completely aligned without letting your hips sag or rise. Hold that position for 10 to 20 seconds, resting for 30 to 45 seconds between repetitions for a total of 3 sets. The most common mistake in this exercise is letting your hips sink toward the ground, which removes tension from the core and overloads the lower back. Another frequent error is going too low, touching your chest to the floor and losing the constant muscular tension that characterizes an isometric exercise. For beginners, I recommend starting with your knees resting on the ground, which reduces the body weight load and allows you to develop proper technique before progressing to the full version with legs extended. As your strength increases, raise the hold time from 10 to 20 seconds before attempting the version without knee support. Regarding contraindications, people with rotator cuff injuries, shoulder bursitis, or carpal tunnel syndrome should exercise extra caution, since bearing weight on the wrists and shoulders can aggravate these conditions. In such cases, an alternative is to perform the exercise resting your forearms on the ground instead of your hands, reducing pressure on the wrist. Exercise number 3, Wall sit. The wall sit is one of the most traditional isometric exercises for strengthening the lower body. It is widely used in knee rehabilitation programs precisely because it allows for quadriceps strengthening without the compressive stress that a full squat movement places on the joint. And do you know why that happens? Because by maintaining a fixed angle, you eliminate the acceleration and deceleration phases that place the most stress on the knees during dynamic squats. This makes the wall sit a particularly safe choice for those who have already passed 50 and are looking to strengthen their legs without aggravating the joints. The benefits go beyond simple muscle strength. This exercise improves postural endurance, strengthens the knee stabilizers, and directly contributes to maintaining balance, which is an essential factor in fall prevention at this age group. I have observed that regular practitioners report greater ease going upstairs and rising from low chairs after a few weeks of consistent practice. To perform it, press your back fully flat against a wall and slide your body down until your knees form an angle of approximately 90 degrees, as if you were sitting on an invisible chair. Your feet should be hip-width apart and aligned with your knees. Hold that position for 20 to 40 seconds, repeating 3 to 4 times with 45-second rest intervals. A common mistake is letting the knees go beyond the line of the toes, which increases pressure on the joint. Another error is going too low, forming an angle less than 90 degrees, which can generate excessive discomfort without additional benefit. For those just starting out, I recommend beginning with a more open angle, close to 120 degrees, holding for shorter periods. As muscular endurance increases, advance the hold time from 20 to 40 seconds before seeking the full 90-degree angle. Relevant contraindications include people with acute meniscus injuries, severe patellar chondromalacia, or a recent knee replacement, who should avoid this exercise until specifically cleared by a medical professional. Those who feel pain in the front of the knee during the movement should reduce the angle of flexion to decrease pressure on the kneecap. Exercise number 4. Isometric glute bridge. The isometric glute bridge is a static variation of the traditional bridge exercise, focused entirely on the sustained contraction of the gluteus maximus, which is the largest muscle in the human body. 99% of people do not know this fact, but that detail explains why strengthening this region has such broad impacts on overall body health. And do you know why that happens? Because the gluteus maximus does not only act in hip extension during movements like walking or climbing stairs. It also plays a fundamental role in stabilizing the pelvis, functioning almost like a natural safety belt for the lower back region. The beauty of this exercise lies in its ability to simultaneously strengthen the glutes and the lower back muscles, creating a solid foundation for pelvic stabilization. Many men, in particular, neglect specific glute training, which compromises not only aesthetics but also functional strength and performance in everyday activities such as going upstairs or lifting objects from the floor. Regular practitioners can notice a significant reduction in lower back pain related to glute weakness, since this muscle plays a central role in pelvic stabilization and in preventing spinal overload. Having the largest muscle in the body well developed also contributes to a higher caloric expenditure at rest, a phenomenon related to the effect known as excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. To perform it, lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet resting on the floor, hip-width apart. Lift your hips by intensely contracting your glutes until your body forms a straight line between your shoulders and your knees. Hold that position for 20 to 30 seconds, repeating 3 to 4 times with 30-second rest intervals between sets. The most frequent mistake in this movement is using predominantly lower back strength instead of the glutes, which generates discomfort in the lower back region rather than correctly activating the target muscle. To avoid this, focus on squeezing your glutes with maximum force before lifting your hips, ensuring that the contraction begins in the correct muscle. For beginners, I recommend starting with 15-second holds, gradually increasing to 30 seconds as muscular endurance develops. Then advance the number of sets from 3 to 4 before seeking longer hold times. Regarding contraindications, people with acute sacroiliac joint injuries or symptomatic lumbar disc herniations should be cautious, since lifting the hips can generate additional tension in that region. Pregnant women in the 3rd trimester should also avoid prolonged time lying on their back, opting for alternatives with a lateral incline. Before we continue, if you're over 50, take a look at this statistic. According to the WHO, between 28 and 35% of people over 65 suffer at least one fall each year. More than 70% of these falls happen inside the home. And today, falls are the leading cause of loss of independence among older adults worldwide. Many people blame it on bad luck, but in reality, it comes down to a lack of strength, balance, mobility, and physical preparedness. That's why our team created biological armor, a complete protocol for people in their 50s, 60s, or 70s who want to make sure they never go through that. Inside the protocol, you'll get a special home exercise program designed to build functional strength, real balance, and reverse years of poor posture and physical neglect without damaging your joints. You'll also learn the habits scientists have identified as common among the populations with the highest life expectancy in the world, habits that less than 1% of the Western population actually practices. Access it now by clicking the pinned link in the first comment of this video, or by pointing your phone's camera at the code appearing on the screen. Exercise number 5, plank. The plank is, without a doubt, one of the best-known and most respected isometric exercises in the world of core training. It emerged as a direct derivation of the push-up position, but with the specific goal of training trunk stabilization rather than a pushing movement. Today, it is widely recommended by physical therapists as a reference for functional core strength. Remember that the core does not only serve aesthetic purposes for the abdomen, it is the support base for virtually every movement of the body, from walking to carrying grocery bags. The plank intensely works the deep abdominal muscles, the spinal erectors, and even the shoulder stabilizers. The benefits for those who are past 50 are particularly relevant. A strengthened core significantly reduces the risk of lower back pain, improves stability during daily activities, and directly contributes to a more upright posture, avoiding the excessive spinal curvature that tends to worsen with advancing age. To perform it correctly, rest your forearms on the ground with your elbows aligned directly below your shoulders and extend your legs behind you, supporting yourself on the balls of your feet. Your body should form a straight line from your head to your heels without your hips rising or dropping. Hold that position for 20 to 40 seconds, repeating 3 to 4 times with 45-second rest intervals between each hold. A common mistake is letting your hips drop toward the floor, which removes tension from the abdomen and transfers the load to the lower back, potentially causing discomfort. Another frequent error is raising your hips too high, forming a small peak with your body, which reduces core activation. For beginners, I recommend starting with your knees resting on the ground instead of the balls of your feet, reducing the load without losing the core activation pattern. As endurance increases, advance the hold time from 20 to 40 seconds before attempting the full version with legs completely extended. Important contraindications include people with lumbar disc herniation in an acute phase, untreated abdominal diastasis, or recent injuries to the wrist and forearm, since bearing weight in that region can aggravate the condition. In these cases, resting the forearms on a step or bench reduces the postural demand without eliminating the benefit of the exercise. Bonus exercise number 1, dead hang. The dead hang is an isometric exercise performed on a fixed bar, supporting body weight using only grip strength and the activation of the shoulders and back muscles. This movement has recently gained popularity among joint health specialists as a simple and effective tool for decompressing the spine and strengthening the shoulder capsule. What many people do not know is that manual grip strength is directly associated with longevity and overall health in population-based studies, and is even used as an indicator of total body muscular strength. Have you ever imagined the impact of that on your daily training? A simple hanging exercise can be a valuable thermometer of your muscular health. The benefits of the dead hang include strengthening the forearms and scapular muscles, improving shoulder mobility, and providing a gentle traction on the spine that can relieve compression accumulated throughout the day. It is like releasing the pressure from a spring that has been compressed for hours on end. This decompression is especially welcome for those who spend long periods sitting, since prolonged posture tends to compress the intervertebral discs. To perform it, position yourself under a fixed bar, grip it with your palms facing forward and shoulder width apart, and let your body hang freely without supporting your feet on the ground. Keep your shoulders slightly activated, avoiding letting them completely relax and rise up toward your ears. Hold that position for 10 to 20 seconds, repeating 3 to 4 times with 45 seconds of rest between each hold. A common mistake is letting the shoulders go completely loose, which can cause long-term joint discomfort. The ideal is to maintain a slight activation as if you were pulling the bar downward with your shoulder blades. Another mistake is attempting to hang for an excessive amount of time from the start, which can compromise technique and cause premature grip fatigue. For those just starting out, I recommend using a lower bar that allows you to lightly support the balls of your feet on the ground to partially reduce the load. As grip strength improves, increase the time from 10 to 20 seconds before fully removing foot support. Important contraindications include people with recent shoulder injuries, such as dislocations or acute rotator cuff tendonitis, as well as those with advanced osteoporosis in the cervical or thoracic spine, since prolonged traction may not be recommended in those cases without specific medical guidance. Bonus exercise number 2, calf raise. The calf raise is a fundamental and often underestimated exercise, especially because the calf is considered the second heart of the body. This happens because this muscle group plays an essential role in pumping blood back to the heart against the force of gravity, directly assisting the blood circulation of the lower limbs. But what does this have to do with your health after 50? Everything. The calf is a muscle predominantly composed of slow-twitch fibers, which is why it responds better to longer sets, generally between 15 and 20 repetitions. In addition, this muscle group plays a central role in body balance, actively helping in fall prevention, which is one of the main safety concerns after the age of 50. To perform the isometric version, stand with your feet resting on a step, raise your heels as high as possible, and hold that position for 15 to 30 seconds. Performing the movement on a step is important because it allows for a greater range of motion, generating more complete muscle activation compared to raising performed directly on flat ground. Repeat 3 to 4 times, alternating between feet parallel, slightly turned out, and slightly turned in, to target different portions of the muscle. A common mistake is performing the movement too quickly, losing the isometric hold component that is the main focus of this exercise. Another frequent error is neglecting variation in foot position, always training the same way and failing to fully stimulate all muscular portions of the calf. For beginners, I recommend starting without the step, supporting your feet directly on the floor until you develop sufficient balance and strength. Advance the hold time from 15 to 30 seconds before introducing the step to increase the range of motion. Regarding contraindications, people with Achilles tendonitis in an acute phase or severe plantar fasciitis should reduce the range of motion or temporarily avoid using the step, opting for execution on flat ground until the inflammatory condition improves. By bringing together these 5 main exercises and the 2 bonus exercises into a weekly routine of 3 to 4 sessions, you will be working practically your entire body in a safe and efficient way without the need for any sophisticated equipment. The secret lies in maintaining consistency, always respecting your body's signals and gradually progressing the whole time in each exercise. If you enjoyed this and also want to discover 10 things that force your body to build muscle mass even after 40, we have a video appearing right now on the screen showing each of them in greater detail. Make sure to check it out and also look into our biological shielding protocol. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and may God bless you, my friend.